Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Bostrom, Rails Member Engagement Manager. Today is another My Library Is conversation, and we're speaking with 4 ISLE members. ISLE is the Association of the Association of Illinois School Library Educators. So welcome to Andrea Perrin, Janine Asmus, Gail Meyer, and Robyn Whitlock. So we're going to talk about a letter that you all wrote, which is published in the Chicago Tribune. But before we do that, would you all introduce yourselves? I'm going to go first and ask Andrea to introduce herself first.
Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Perrin, and I am the middle school librarian at Woodland Middle School, which is in Burnee. I am the license renewal manager for ISLE, and I'm also part of the advocacy team.
Great. Okay, Gail.
I'm Gail Meyer. I am the librarian at TF South High School, which is in Lansing, Illinois, right south of the city of Chicago. And for ISLE, I am the legislative board member and the Illinois Learning Council representative.
All right, thank you. Robyn?
Hi, my name's Robyn Whitlock, and I am the librarian at Waubonsie Valley High School in Aurora, Illinois. And for ISLE, I am the membership chair. I am also on the advocacy team.
Great. And finally, Janine.
I am Janine Asmus. I am the librarian at West Leiden High School in North Lake, Illinois. And I am a member of ISLE. I'm running for president-elect right now, and I currently serve on the board of ISLE, and I am on the advocacy team as well.
Wonderful, thank you. So first of all, happy School Library Month to all of you. Janine, we're going to start with you. So tell me, my first question is, how did this letter come about, and why now?
Well, on our listserv, our ISLE listserv, we get a lot of banter throughout the day. Mostly it's curricular questions, questions about books or purchases, and sometimes we'll get oh my gosh, they're getting rid of my position at the such and such a school. It's a national issue. It's not just in Illinois, but school librarians are getting cut and libraries are being repurposed. And I think sometimes to be great is to be misunderstood. I didn't say that, but I believe Emerson or Thoreau did. Nonetheless, I sat down and I wrote a letter to the editor, and it was really, really long. And I realized, Janine, who are you writing this to? What are you doing? You need to rein yourself in. So I looked on the Tribune and I noticed it was 400 words max with 4 signatures only. So we also have our own leadership email system, if you will. And so I wrote to all of them and said, I'm working on this letter. Anyone want to jump in, edit, sign it, let's go. And voila, here we are this morning, highlighting some of my champions that wanted to work with me on this advocacy piece, because I strongly believe in the power of the school library and the school librarian.
And it was a really nice coincidence that she sent that, because at the time I was working on a letter on behalf of the ISLE board to send to schools that are cutting positions, expressing how important it is to have a school librarian and how ISLE as an organization is disappointed, does not approve of these cuts, and speaking on behalf of our profession. And when Janine sent that, I was like, hey, perfect timing. Here's my letter. Let's look at yours. And I'm glad to sign it with you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so tell me about the response. What sort of response have you gotten? Have you heard from other people in the profession? What are you hearing out there?
Oh gosh, it was very well received. I was amazed. I posted it on Twitter. I haven't looked lately, but my goodness, like 57 times it's been retweeted all over the world and liked and commented on. I've gotten emails just to my personal and professional email about it. I got one this morning from a woman who wrote to me and said, thank you so much for doing this. I met with another lady yesterday I never met before in my life. She wanted to do a virtual chat. So 2:00 yesterday, we met and discussed. So, I mean, yes, it's garnered a ton of support. It rings true. I think that's why when something like this speaks volumes, it wasn't like I used highfalutin language or what have you. I spoke from the heart because I truly believe what I wrote. It's true.
And the Illinois Library Association, which is our state's library association for public and, and school libraries, posted it on their website. I believe it's on their
Okay.
website to
Mhm.
share, with public libraries also. And as an advocacy team, we always talk about it. Really, advocacy is something you do every day, not just when you're in danger of you're losing your job. And so we as a team, we put on webinars throughout the year. We put on webinars or sessions at conference to help school librarians, advocate for their position all year long and show their value to their district all year long. Unfortunately, though, sometimes things happen and the decisions are made by the admin team at districts, and they just feel that it's not an important enough position, and they just cut it. And so, on our listserv, that's what happened. That was really the catalyst to this letter. There was a district that cut their librarian, and we were like, not again. And that's where we're at now.
As librarians, we're in such a unique role, and so many times our role is sort of invisible, especially in a school. It's behind the scenes, but if you take it away, things start to fall apart.
Yes.
So many meetings with different teachers, collaborating with them, supporting the curriculum, helping to research what's coming next with curriculum and with trends. And people may not be flashy, they may not see it. So it's so important for every librarian to let their administration know what they're doing behind the scenes, because if we don't tell them, they won't know. And then those positions are in danger of being cut. And I think the letter really resonated with people because so many of us, we wear so many hats every day in a school, and we're getting kids excited about reading, excited about being in school, research, makerspace, so many different things. And yet we're all often working in isolation. So there's a loneliness to the profession, which is why it's so important to join these professional groups.
She couldn't have said it better. I totally agree with Robyn. It is a lonely profession. And I think when your job is on a chopping block, you put it on a listserv because that's where your colleagues are. You're not having coffee with them on Wednesday morning. They're all in different schools. So it makes it tough.
Well,
Yeah, we do have not only ISLE as the organization, but ISLE has a lot of chapters also for even more local organization or librarians. And I feel that connecting with the people in the town next to you, if their position is then in danger, you have local connections who can come to a school board meeting and speak up on your behalf.
well, thank you. And the letter really resonated with me. And I would guess that that anybody that reads it, it would resonate with them, because I do think that there's a lot of passion behind it. And the way that you all certainly talk about it, it makes perfect sense to me, right? But tell me about what happens now. What happens if you have if people are reading the letter? How would you recommend? And you alluded to this a little bit. How would you recommend that people use it going forward, or what other resources can they potentially use going forward to kind of advocate for themselves?
Well, the first thing I did with my letter is I sent it to my superintendent. And I screenshot it on Twitter and I said, take a look, man, it's getting some legs. And he wrote me back, I'm going to share it with my board right away. Thank you so much. So I wanted him to put it, you have to be forward facing. I think as school librarians, we forward face our books. We're really good at marketing our materials. We need to market ourselves, right? We need to say what all the good things that we do. We need to get out there and talk about what, like as Robyn indicated, and Gail and Andrea, we do great work, but we work in isolation. So you need to get in front of it and you need to tout all the good things. It might sound a little, smug. Oh, I can't talk about, you have to talk about yourself. You have to. And we're waiting on a survey to see just how many Illinois school librarians there are. I think we will be shocked as a profession in this state, how many are left.
Yeah.
We got to stop the bleed.
I currently have the book fair going on in my library. And so I have the PTA running it. well, it's not, I shouldn't say it's their thing. They're running the book fair. And so this morning I had a conversation with one of the moms that is organizing the book fair, because even in my district, and I'm on the advocacy team, we don't have a certified primary librarian in my district. On paper, we have a librarian, but in reality, we don't. She is not certified. She's not in the library. She's running the tech for that building. And those are the primary kids. They're like, they need a librarian. And so often districts don't listen to their employees, but they listen to the parents. So I bent her ear and said, I know that you're part of the PTA, and it would be really great if the parents in our PTA could support the libraries and go to the board and say, why doesn't my 4-year-old get to go to the library? Why do they not have a specified library time and meet with the librarian who can instill the love of books and reading to them? So I'm hoping that that's going to go somewhere, and that the parents will stand up and say, we want this position back as a full-time certified librarian.
And I know Gail and Robyn and I work in high schools, and when kids come in and do work on their reading identity, that's what I call it, where they self-select and try to find a book for silent sustained reading. You can feel, it's palpable, the gap that they had, perhaps if they didn't have a middle school library or librarian, because they revert back to the last book they read in the 4th grade. Do you have Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Do you have, wow, so we're going back, huh? Right? Because I have a beautiful collection of young adult literature, but I got a bridge from there to here. And you're nodding in agreement, so go ahead.
I am. I just added some books to the collection because I had a group of students asking me about the book Wonder. And that was the last book they read that resonated. And so I did work on my collection development yesterday to add some books that sort of advocate for people with disabilities, that have those main characters with disabilities, to sort of be able to offer them. And that's, again, behind the scenes collection development. It's not exciting, but it's satisfying when you can put that book in a student's hand. And for them, all of my training tells me when I have a 11th grader asking me for something that's like Wonder, I'm not going to shame them. I'm not going to say, what? You haven't read a book since 4th grade?
Right.
No way. I'm going to talk to them about Wonder and what an amazing story that is. And I'm going to put more stories in their hands and just celebrate that they found me, that they came to the library, and that they're interested in reading again.
And they'll want to read Wonder again and again and again. And they want to read The Outsiders again and again and again. And you got to let them do that, because eventually they're going to say, I'm done with it. Do you have something like it? And it's on their timetable, not mine. But I'm here to negotiate that for 1,450 students by myself.
Yes.
So that speaks volumes. So if the Chicago Tribune wants to print another article, let's go, ladies.
And these are perfect examples of behind the scenes, what happens. If you don't have a librarian in your building, in your library, students can't go to that person and ask them for recommendations. There's nobody there. And so that's not going to happen.
And I'm sure every librarian can give you the story of the student who said, I never liked reading until you gave me this book.
Yes.
There is always one. And there's more than one, but every librarian will have that story. Schools without libraries are missing that.
Kids will stop you in the parking lot while you're getting your book bag and your water bottle. Miss Asmus, you gave me this book. Can you walk me up now and find me the next one? Well, sure. Why don't you carry my lunch? We'll do it right now. But it happens all the time. And there's nothing more gratifying than, as a school librarian, is to know that you put a kid on the trajectory to be a reader. Could there be any other educational pedagogy better than that? No, bring it. You can't.
And there are studies that show that schools with certified librarians do better, the students do better. And so that's, those are studies that show that. And we as a profession, we know that. We know those studies are out there. And so it's up to us to show our administration that those studies are out there also. And that it's important that when they're thinking about cutting budget for their building, that it's not the librarian's position that they're cutting.
Yeah, thank you all. And I'm gonna put a link in the description of this video to that ILA page that has the full letter, so that people haven't seen it, they can go check it out. I want to sum it up here, but I think maybe Andrea, you have a great way to do that. So would you take it away?
I do. So this is a page from a book that I recently read. The book is Starfish by Lisa Phipps. I don't know if anyone's read that, but it's a book that I read about a month ago, and it really was such a powerful book to me that, and it's a middle school book. It could be high school too. But this page is called Life-Saving Librarians. The library is my safe harbor since I dare not go into the cafeteria alone. A whale surrounded by starving sharks. It was hard enough when Viv and I faced them together. How did your summer reading go, Elle? Miss Pochin asks. I tell the librarian about my new favorite novel in free verse. Imagine that, eh? Her Canadian accent is strong. Poetry at the top of your list. She smiles as she scans a book, its spine snapping and plastic jacket crackling. I breathe in the smell, hungry to read the words. You'll like this one, she says. I've been looking forward to seeing you so you could check it out. She's the first person to smile at me today, the first to make me feel wanted, understood. I blink back tears. It's unknown how many students' lives librarians have saved by welcoming loners at lunch. And if your school doesn't have a librarian, that won't happen.
Amen.
Amen. What a great way! What a great way to end this. Okay, well, thank you all for today's My Library is conversation. Andrea, Janine, Gail, Robyn, thank you so much. Keep up the good work, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.